Okay, Guru Nation, this is a fundamental video that's just going to stay on YouTube. The shorts will probably be all over the place, but it's clearly for the newbies out there. If you've clicked on it, you're wondering, what's the difference between a CRA and a CRO? And anyone that's been in the industry even 6 months kind of knows. Like, you don't need to learn this anymore. Send it to someone who may be in need of it. But a CRA is a clinical research associate. A CRA is an individual. A CRO is a clinical research organization, which is also very vague. What does that mean? That could mean any organization in the industry? Not really. It means the middleman between the sponsor and the site. They are usually the ones that employ the CRAs. I say usually because the pharmaceutical sponsors sometimes employ the CRAs directly themselves. And so this is why it gets very confusing, but these two acronyms should really essentially be different to not confuse people because CRAs typically work for CROs. So it's a very quick video that I could make, but if you get the book, The Comprehensive Guide to Clinical Research, which is right here, it will actually break down like the dynamics of CRO level dynamics, site level dynamics, sponsor level dynamics. So the CRO is usually hired by the sponsor to ensure that the and insist with the completion of a clinical trial. So when a sponsor, let's say Johnson and Johnson, when they have a study, they hire a CRO. The CRO will sometimes help them develop the protocol, sometimes help them find the investigative sites that will do the study. The investigative sites are the ones that typically enroll the patients. And then at the site level, there are coordinators that work there. The CROs assist in all of this, or can assist, because increasingly so, it's becoming more common for the sponsors, although it's happening at a slow pace. But it's like a new trend for the sponsors to start doing a lot of this work that they used to outsource to CROs in-house. And another way to think of what a CRO is, it's when a pharmaceutical company wants to do a clinical trial, they have to outsource the work to a CRO. They also have to outsource the work to an investigative site, which is what I am. I'm a site owner. I own sites. Uh, I've done it my whole career. We're also outsourced, but we're not considered a CRO because we're not a contract research organization. We don't manage trials for a sponsor. We'll take a trial from a sponsor and we will enroll patients in that study, but then who's making sure that we're doing our job properly? That's typically the CRO. It can be a sponsor. There's no rules that say there must be a CRO, and technology is actually helping sponsors start doing a little more and have more control over their studies. But typically, since about the late 70s, the sponsors have been outsourcing the work to CROs in order to do the work for them. Now, there's been some recent changes to FDA regulations. The FDA basically said in 2016 that sponsors are responsible for the conduct of their trial, and the excuse of we don't know anything about it because we outsource this to the CRO is not acceptable. So it's the sponsors are responsible. So now there's there's different chains of command, there's different reporting processes at the CROs. Ultimately, it's the CROs that are the middleman between the sponsors and the sites. They have zero interaction with patients, and they are the ones that typically hire the CRAs, which are the clinical research associates. Now, the CRAs, they're individuals. They physically, usually, sometimes remotely, but most of the time it's a combination of physically and virtually, monitor the sites. CRAs are also known as monitors. It's another synonym for CRA, monitor. And so they monitor the investigative site to ensure that they are following the protocol and that they are following good clinical practice. Now, again, the CRAs do not get involved with patients. That's strictly the investigative sites and their staff, which are primarily study coordinators. But the CRAs do get their hands dirty with the source documents and with the regulatory documents. And the CRAs are usually assigned several sites, and they are basically in charge of making sure that those sites are being compliant with, again, the protocol and with good clinical practice. And they, for the most part, work strictly for CROs, although there are many that work directly for the sponsors themselves, like the aforementioned Johnson and Johnson, which I'm just pulling a name out of thin air, or any other sponsor you may think of. So, hopefully, that's a short enough explanation. If you need more, let me know, or if you're one of those nerds that watch the whole thing and you're an expert, let me know what else I missed. But this is something that gets confused all the time, and YouTube actually told me this would make a good video. So if you liked it, like, subscribe, comment, share. I'm really trying to get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and if you're watching this in the future, I don't know, drop me a note, leave a comment, do something nice. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.